Alkebuluan is a Chicago-based artist, zine maker, unconventional archivist in training, and image maker. In May of 2019, she received her bachelor's degree in art history from the University of Illinois at Chicago, and currently she is a graduate student within the Museum and Exhibition Studies program at UIC. Her practice often derives from personal narratives, and as a Black woman, she views art as a form of self-care and therapy. Furthermore, she uses photographic imagery to document her self-expression as it is. Alkebuluan is the founder and creator of the Black Matriarch Archive, which is what we're going to talk about with you today. Thanks for joining me, Alkebuluan.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And so in so many words, how would you describe the Black Matriarch Archive?
So the Black Matriarch Archive is, for now, it operates as an Instagram page, but it seeks to encourage members of the African diaspora, regardless of location, to submit imagery of their matriarchs. And for those who may not be familiar with like matriarchy is, mainly families run by women.
For sure. And in 2020, over the summer and even today, why do you feel that matriarchy and imaging the matriarch is important?
So I'm gonna have to give a shout out to Colleen of the Black Joy Archive. I actually have work featured in that said archive, but over the summer, Colleen, who is currently a graduate student and designer based out of New York, did a call for submissions for the Black Joy Archive as like a reminder for Black folks that like despite everything that's going on racially and politically in this country, we should still rejoice in joy, particularly Black joy. And I purchased the book and she wrote this very beautiful tribute to her grandmother, and it really got me thinking in terms of like my graduate program and like what I wanted to do. And I was like, you know what, if I can't secure a job during the pandemic, I'm gonna create my own role. I grew up with parents who really asserted that they are where they are due to Black women, and I can also say the same. A lot of my recent success has come from the support of Black women and like well-known like Black archivists here in Chicago as well.
And matriarch doesn't always mean biological mother, right?
Nope. So matriarch, I really encourage everyone to submit anyone that they consider to be a matriarch. And we being the archive, we encourage everyone to engage with it, and you can submit your godmother, your great aunt. I've had a few folks be like, well, can I submit my drag mother? I'm like, of course, absolutely. It could be a caregiver, your mentor, and also the person that you are submitting doesn't necessarily have to identify with she or her pronouns as well.
Amazing. And could you let us in on what the submission process is like?
Yeah, so I particularly ask that folks submit via Gmail, but I've had a few folks drop their submissions in the DMs. How I ask for people to submit is that you will email me at my email address, and I ask that they provide an image description for those who may be visually impaired. It can be as broad as the person wants it to be.
And where do you see this project going? Will it live online? Will it become a book?
Yes. Okay. So I do have plans in the works. For instance, I'm hoping to bring on a like co-curator / founder, because it is, as much as I enjoy using social media, it is a lot of work and labor to like curate a digital like platform. And so the next steps is to bring on a co-curator or like co-founder. I do have plans on launching a website. I'm really going to reach for May 9th, 2021, which is Mother's Day here in the United States. The latest you will expect a website from me is like Juneteenth. And I would love to come out with a book as my capstone project for my current graduate program. Particularly, I would love to either collaborate with Candor Arts or Third World Press.
Amazing. And in one of your previous answers, you mentioned to include descriptors of images to be more accessible. Is accessibility a concern for you in this project?
Yes, it is. So my current graduate program, it's very social justice based, and something that I've beginning to learn is to focus on accessibility. Like, how do I curate a platform for someone who may be visually impaired? Like, what if they can't see the image visually, but if you were to read them like a descriptive label, they'll be like, oh, like I can get a sense of like what is going on. Does that make sense?
For sure.
So yes, accessibility is important to me. That's why, to also add on, that's why I have been paying translators to also translate our English document to other languages. So far, people have been kind enough. I've paid for folks to translate it in German, in Portuguese, and Spanish, and there's a French version coming, and hopefully Yoruba.
Amazing. But what's key right now is getting images, right?
Yes.
And so what is your hope for the image base? Are you shooting for a number? Are you just going to feel out when it feels full? What are your thoughts on that?
This is a project that I feel like will become my life's work, regardless of what I will go on to do. There's really no, I'm not really stressed over people submitting. I mean, as the page has beginning to grow with more followers, people have been submitting and like sharing our call for submissions, but it's really, you know, I'm just being patient. I also collect images of Black women, particularly those who may be brides, mothers or grandmothers, and I have plans to invite our upcoming co-curator to take over the page for a week and, like, you know, facilitate those images. I also have plans to create like a lost file / lost memories on our upcoming website in the hopes of like repatriating those images back to the original families.
Got it. So if someone comes across your archive and they see the images that maybe you found in a thrift store and it's theirs, you're willing and
of course, yes,
interested in giving back to those folks. That's amazing.
I enjoy, as an unconventional archivist, I do enjoy like collecting certain things. Like a pastime of mine is collecting Black children's books, but I've been getting into the habit of like collecting vintage imagery of Black women who may be pictured with their children, grandchildren, or they just may be posing as a bride. And I would love to repatriate those images because I have been going to thrift shops and also been purchasing through eBay and Etsy. And I've started to notice that the sellers that I'm interacting with, they're mainly white, holding on to these images of like people of the African diaspora. And it's not my intention to just hold on to these images, because if someone's like, hey, like, oh, that's like my grandmother, I'm like, oh, that's great. How can I give this image back to you? Because there's a lot of history and memories that, you know, photo books and family albums hold. I did not design the logo. However, I did hire Kari Blackburn Sylvain, who is the son of the amazing Chicago muralist Dorian Sylvain, to create a logo that was inspired by Queen Tai, who's a Nubian queen in Egypt, in like 18th dynasty Egypt. I chose her imagery because I look at, you know, the bust of her face and I see, you know, all of my grandmothers and my great grandmothers. And also Kari was kind enough to create two versions. One is just black and white, and one implements like the Pan-African flag, so red, green, and black.
Amazing. And at the end of this interview, I'll post the website information about how you can submit. But really, it's most important to share this with others, right? Celebrate the matriarch and share it with anyone who you think might be interested. It's free to submit, correct?
Of course. I'm not charging anything. However, since I have been funding this project out of my own pocket while applying for grants, waiting to hear from grants, we are accepting donations. It's not required. Even just sharing our call for submissions or even asking people to just follow the page is, you know, reparations enough.
It's amazing. Well, thank you for sharing your project with us, Alkebuluan, and best of luck with it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.